So, hello and welcome to the second part of the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. We thought we have to mix it up a bit, and so we are creating a second show. So, like Jonathan Giles in the corner down here, like he said, like he's getting too tired and doesn't have the stamina anymore for 90 minutes. So we have to kind of shorten it down. So I'm going to take over the show now, and I'm going to call this show Beyond the Last Man. So basically, everything we talk about is anything beside the Premier League. So Arsenal Women, Arsenal Academy, maybe, and obviously now in October we have quite a lot of shows for or a lot of games in the Europa League. So that's what we're gonna talk today. So today, since it's our first show, just introduce a few already known people from our other show. Obviously, Jonathan Giles, our veteran presenter from the first show. Ian Gunnery, already as well an established member of our podcast, and our guest here today as well, Brendan Boyle. He was on a few times as well. Welcome everybody to this beautiful new show, and I'm sure we're gonna have quite a lot of fun on this.
Nice to be here.
Good. Yeah, just to start off, like as I said, the schedule is so tight that like talking about four different games in one show just is too much. So we're just gonna talk about the Bodo Glimt game, which we went up to see Santa Claus before we gonna start playing the game in the North Pole. And then the women's game, so they played as well against Reading on the weekend. And yeah, it was a quite good game. Still top of the league. Just I think now actually second now is that right? We have just one goal less than Manchester United. So but yeah, on points we're on top. So yeah, I just want to start with Bodo Glimt. So what do you think? How everything went? I thought it was obviously a really tough game going up there, and you know it's not only Norway. It's really up in the Arctic Circle. It was cold. It was raining. And the plastic pitch, so I think that was the biggest issue for it. You can see what I found was like that they're not used to the speed of the pitch, because a lot of the passes were overshot. But I think they did a quite good job. Great goal from Zaka, good 1-2 with Lokonga. And yeah, Saka is our man today. Like we had this conversation I think a couple of weeks ago, said he's not in form. I think he's showing now like why he's one of the best players or young players in England. And yeah, we won the game on the weekend on Sunday with a goal from him. We won the game in Norway. So yeah, look, he's our little Chilean, so he loves playing there. So I thought it was a good game. Just want to see how you seen it, or what did you think, or what made the game? I'm gonna start with Brendan because he's a guest. So see, Brendan, how did you find it?
Well, I watched the whole game. It wasn't the most entertaining game I've ever seen, but looking at their record, they won the last four. They're unbeaten there in the last 14 games.
Yeah,
14 games. They beat Roma 6-1. They beat Celtic last season easily enough. So they're no mugs at all, and I thought they really took it to us. I don't think we were really at the top of our game, but I think that's to be expected as the season goes on. That's going to happen more and more. And we found that again at the weekend, I think. But the most important thing was result. We got the result. The conditions were horrendous, I think. And obviously, artificial pitches, I'm not a fan of. And I imagine any professional football player you talk to wouldn't be a fan of them either.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we had to do something. We had to go and play there. We had to try and get as good a result as we had. And as I say, 14 teams have tried before us and haven't got a win, and we got the win. We sit top of the group, and it gives us a little bit of breathing space, I think, going into the two PSV games.
Yeah, well, 100%. Like I mean, I think we're quite lucky as well, though. Bodo Glimt are not the best finishers. I think they have a good start of play. But like I mean, they had so many chances, and in fairness, like they could have scored a few of them. It would have been a different game. So yeah, Ian, how did you see it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I suppose a lot to be desired about it. Really, it wasn't a very, well, it wasn't, I suppose, the most attractive performance, but look, I think, if I'm being honest, it's a performance that I expected to see coming on the back of playing Tottenham and Liverpool back to back. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's going to take its toll on anyone. I mean, you have to look at the, I suppose, the intensity of those games, and then you're going away from home. Players are going to be tired. So, like, I mean, winning ugly isn't a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? It showed there that like that's a sign of champions. I know it's way too early to be saying that kind of saying, but like that is what you need to be able to be up to fitness levels, and you're not up to being at their A game, and you're still pulling the win off. That's what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Giving guys,
it's fantastic if you can win 2-3-0. Like, of course, we want that. But I mean, look, just get the job done. That's the task at hand, and they've done it. I can't really say much about that. Atmosphere wise, I thought it was 10 out of 10. I thought that the Bodo Glimt home fans are amazing. I think they had a great reputation when they came to the Emirates, and I think we knew what we were expecting going into that. I actually think, if I'm being honest, I thought they deserved to get something from that game. I thought they were very, very unlucky. Saka again, superb. I think he took his role very well. I think he's very underrated. I've underrated him myself. I'll put my hands up there. I think there's a lot he can do. I suppose both in creating chances and scoring at the same time. That I think I believe he came sixth or seventh in the Ballon d'Or for the young Ballon d'Or, which I think is absolutely madness. Because there's players that were ahead of him that were in centre back that haven't created like half as much or suppose had any sort of in-game play. So it just goes to show that, I mean, we've got such a player on our hands there, and I suppose contract-wise we tie him down. But I think overall the performance, he was definitely our man of the match. I think for the way he created chances, never stopped running. And I think he definitely took us out of a hole, because I don't think we were getting many other chances that were looking like scoring. He got the chance that he got. And I think other than that, we were kind of, I suppose, just trying to grind out the result, which I think we did to a good standard. I think if I was to give, I suppose, our match performance out of 10, I think I'd give it probably a 6. I think it wasn't our best performance. We've definitely had better. But look, I mean, at the same time, I have to be honest, like, they have just come and beat Tottenham and beat Liverpool. So, I mean, that you have to consider that as well, that's a fantastic achievement. I mean, look at City at the weekend. It's just gone to prove that beating Liverpool is no easy feat to do. And I think, overall, I think it was a fantastic performance. In terms of grinding out the result, yes, he could have played better, but I think they got the job done, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, sure. No, I think it just shows as well, like that, they're used to this plastic pitch, so that's why they created the chances. I think they're well used to it, and that's why they beat so many teams before us. And I think that's exactly the secret to what it is. Jonathan, how did you see it? Did you watch it live, or did you just watch the highlights? Jonathan, are you frozen, Jonathan? You all right? We can't hear him. Can you hear us, Jonathan? He sabotaged me already. So, like, this is where it starts,
He's on protest.
He's on protest. I don't know, like, what's happening there.
Hear me?
I think we might have to move on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
We can hear you, but like, I think you can only hear what we said 2 minutes ago. So,
but look, while Jonathan's trying to get that,
Can you hear me now?
organized, like, Martin and Brendan, who would you say is your man of the match for Thursday?
Can you hear me?
For Thursday, well,
Martin,
you got Brendan. Like, like, I'm thinking about it anyway.
Yeah. In the first half, I thought Saka was excellent, as you were saying. I thought he died off a little bit in the second half. And then I've got to give credit to the goalkeeper, because He's not
Yeah.
somebody that filled me with confidence so far, and I still don't think he's anywhere near as good as Bernd Leno. But Bernd Leno deserves to be a first-team goalkeeper, and hopefully it will do his confidence a world of good. And hopefully he start to show us that he is a very, very good goalkeeper, which he's going to be needed. So
that's one of the things I think with Turner. Like you don't really, like it's very hard like to judge a goalkeeper when you don't really see him playing any games beside like a Europa League game. And in fairness, he had a few good saves, and he needs this confidence. And like we do need something just in case. Like Ramsdale is stopping his the goals with his third leg, that can't be healthy. So like look, we need to think, and you're right. Like Bernd Leno would have probably been a more secure second goalkeeper, but obviously he wants to play. He wants to play in the World Cup, so he had to move on. That otherwise. And look, we don't know. We can only judge a player when he plays. And let's see if he plays. Obviously, he's going to play on Thursday, I presume. See how he does there. Because that's what we'll tell. Hello, Jonathan. This is Dublin calling. Can you hear me now?
So the answer to your question, Martin, is the first half man of the match Saka, second half Turner. So I'm splitting it 50-50.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
What easy way out here?
Yeah, Jonathan, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be
right, Jonathan. What was your comments on the match last Thursday?
Oh, he's gone now. Gonna edit that out.
Can you hear me now?
For the comical factor, it makes a good reading.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
If you have any subscribers that are IT technicians, if you would like to post in the comments after the show, would appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna put a link in for like subscriptions and to sponsor Jonathan a new laptop. To get, he's typing now. It's Ian Dodge's stream. Unfortunately, we have the same problems what we had in the river bar. the Dodgy box went down, and now we lost. I think we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? No.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear us?
Loud and clear, yeah.
Right.
Perfect. So we leave it. We leave it without the video. Now you go. I'm gonna give you a lovely emoji.
Okay, you can hear me now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sound, yeah. Okay, I'm not lagging behind, am I?
No.
Okay. Yeah. You're recording now, Martin. I'm still going, yeah.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah. Yeah. So aside from seeing my ugly face, no. Yeah, I thought last Thursday's win was like 3 from 3. And that's what 12 wins in 13 games now in all competitions. Like you can't ask for more. Like what Arteta's doing at the moment, as I said, and to show before we came on here, like to go away to these games over in recent years, we could have fallen on our face. Bodo Glimt are now pushovers themselves. They won 6-2 against Roma their last season at home in the Europa League. So they had a great home record until we arrived, and thankfully we ended that record, and hopefully that's the start of something that we'll be doing over the European campaign. A win on Thursday at the Emirates was all but still top spot, I think. Maybe a draw in Eindhoven should see it, or you'd be going. To be honest, I think Arsenal should be going out to win every game now. I think we're in that run of form and confidence that, when you're beating every team now, and like we don't look to even be drawing a game. Arteta's setting his team out to go out and win, and you can see that from the get-go. The confidence is up. We've got 2 teams to rely on, one for the league and one for the Europa League. The plastic pitch surfaces don't suit us. Even Arteta says the play was a bit too quick for the players, to surface. And I think for Saka to get 2 goals in 2 games and to win 1-0, that shows that we've got grit and determination, and we can win ugly. And I think that will bode as well for the rest of the season and up to the World Cup break. So to win our first 2 away games in the group against Zurich and Bodo Glimt there last Thursday, I think will give those young players a real lift that won't be featuring in the Premier League week on week. And my one thing, I don't know about you, but my one thing I worry about in Europe is Matt Turner. He looks a bit shaky. You know, there's something about him. I just think he's a mistake waiting to happen, but maybe it's because he hasn't got the run of games. Maybe he should be certain in the Premier League, just the odd game here and there. But other than that, I think Nketiah should be playing up front in every game up until, you know, we face better teams in the latter stages. But I can't complain. Look, 1-0 away, anyway, result in Europe is great, and long may it continue, and hopefully a good performance on Thursday against PSV will all but seal our qualification into the next stages in February.
Yeah, I mean, when you weren't hearing us properly, like we were actually saying about Turner, I think one of the things with Turner is we don't really know what he can do because we didn't really see anything of him yet. The second half, he had actually quite good game. He had some stops because Bodo Glimt had good chances. They had really good chances, and it just some stops he made was good, and then obviously and I don't even look. I don't know. Like, I mean, I never played on a plastic pitch, not in that conditions anyway. It was cold. It was raining. So I think even for Bodo Glimt, it was hard, like to get a stop. Like it looked like all the balls went to the right. They kind of sliced off the grass, kind of somehow. But look, I think Turner made a few good saves. Let's see how he plays against PSV. I think it's going to be a complete different game. He's going to be probably more used than like for anything else. And yeah, look, it's very hard to make a decision on a keeper where how many times have you seen him? 3 or 4 times. I understand what you're saying. He looks like sometimes, and it must be hard for him as well. Like, look, he comes from America, go to Premier League, like, and he plays for a big team now, and it can't be easy. And look, we have to put our faith in that the scouts seen something in him, which he did in America, that is good enough. They think that is for Arsenal. But look, I don't think did he concede many. I don't think he conceded any goal yet, did he?
Don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
He conceded one against Jordan, yeah.
Did he? Yeah. Oh yeah, the penalty. Yeah, look, penalty is something like which is probably very very hard to take.
Give him his juice.
But 100%. So like, look, we'll see what it is, and I think that just brings us straight over.
He's on the new one, yeah.
So PSV is going to be a different game, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the table, they beat Zurich 5-1 and 5-1 away and 5-0 at home. So that's why they got their goals. They struggled against Bodo Glimt at home. In the first game they drew 1-1. So I'm not sure. Like, I don't know the Dutch league too much about, like, how they go. I know Ajax is top there. PSV, it's second in the league, but like it's not a great league anyway, if you know what I mean. So, but you can't say that on a day it's gonna be a tough game. I think it's good that we play at home the first game. I think it would have been worse if we play away because there would have been more pressure on it. Look, like we were saying in the first show, if Arsenal turn up, we have no problems winning these games. I'm hoping for a 1 or 2-0. Keep another clean sheet, gives Matt Turner a bit of confidence as well. And then I think there's the Zurich game. Is that the last game in the group, or?
Yeah.
So yeah, look, if you can get 3 points, we should beat Zurich at home. So I'm not saying that we can't lose the group, but if we are 7 points ahead, or no, 5 points ahead with 2 games to go, I think we have a good chance of topping the group. So yeah, let's see how they go. Let's see who's fit. I wonder if Jesus is gonna be being played. He didn't look too great against Leeds. I think he needs a break. Give Nketiah a chance. He has the talent to go and play up front. And yeah, let's see how he copes with that pressure. But yeah, it will be definitely a good game. But playing at home definitely will help us.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Go back to Brendan again.
Well, I mean, PSV and Arsenal have a bit of history going back. They've knocked us out of European competition a few times over the years. And as you say, they're second in their league behind Ajax. They've got some very good players. Gakpo, I think, is the one everyone's talking about up front. It'd be interesting to see what he's like because we've been linked with him as well. And I've noticed Arteta starting to rotate his first teamers in the Europa, or so it seems. So it'd be interesting to see what he's going to do there. like Saliba played the last day, few mistakes at the weekend, but still quality player and stuff. But you've seen Xhaka normally is his go-to midfielder, but he was out. So it'd be interesting to see now. Arteta might turn around and think that if we beat PSV at home, then that's us topping the group.
Yeah.
He might put a stronger team out, seeing as we've got Southampton away on Sunday. It's a difficult one to call, but the guys that have played need minutes, and as you say, Nketiah, I wish he'd give him some more minutes in the Premiership. Like, he's getting 10, 15 minutes maximum. It'd be nice to see him get a little bit more. I thought he should have come on earlier at the weekend, because I thought Jesus didn't really look at the races and was getting a little bit bullied. So it's nice to see Eddie really get on his game against PSV, and Nelson. I'd like to see him really hit some form, and even not players like Lokonga. He's not getting too many minutes, and they've all got something to play for. And even you go into the defence, you've got Tierney, who I think should have been starting at the weekend, but I think maybe Arteta's just nursing him through because of his injury problems. And again, back to Turner. Turner needs to be comfortable in goal, especially Emirates. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. With Turner, he's going to have a little bit more to do than I think he will have had to do in any of the other games, even the Bodo Glimt game. Yeah. So it's a learning curve for all of them, and even for the fans, because we're seeing players playing a little bit more than before. So it's I think it's going to be interesting, but we have to get a result. We can't lose. If we lose, then you could go into you come second, you go into a playoff. That's an extra 2 games, and we've got more than enough games to go at the moment.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think that's the good thing from last year. At least we have these kind of games, to give the younger players, and that's what we have. You can only have the 25 players in the team anyway. So, but we definitely have a better backup now than we had last year.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it just kind of had to show. I think Lokonga actually, like for the games he played, he's not put a foot wrong in some ways. And even when Partey was out, like he came in, he played much more solid than he did last season. So for him, it's a learning curve. And I think there was some article in the paper today, like said, he was talking about last season. Is it the right time to stay at Arsenal? Is he going to go away? And he thinks he can learn more in the 20, 30 minutes he plays or in the games now than he would play in some other team, where he might win 3-4-0 and he doesn't learn anything. So he has to go through this.
Yeah.
And I think that's
a
the
great
important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, it looks all well, and I don't think for any team who plays in Europe, if it's like City, Liverpool, United, Spurs, anyway, they all have the same amount of games to play. They all have to travel a lot, so it's not going to be easy for any of them. So we just have to, and in fact, I think we're already 5 games in now, so another 4 or 5 to go. So for the October 9 games, and it's gonna be a tough and you have to rotate players, and you have to play any of them, and you have to show a bit of faith in them as well. And you're right with Nelson. I mean, Nelson again is even worse than Turner, because we don't see anything of him. It is, I think the last time when I seen Nelson for an Arsenal, it must be over a year, because he obviously went to the Dutch league, and he might actually be a good addition for this game, because he played in the Dutch league, so he would have faced PSV in the league, so he would know what it's like to play against PSV. He might have some insights in it which we don't know. And I'm coming to Ian as well. So what do you think? What you expect from the game on Thursday?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, I suppose, quite similar to the game against Leeds. I feel, being personally honest, I feel it's going to be a tight game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in it. I think it'll be probably 1-0, 2-1 at the most. I think PSV are no easy team at all. As Brendan has said, past experience, they've had tough matches against them in the past. And I think we look tired. We look a tired team at the moment, and I think I agree with you, Martin, where you're saying that they need to be resting key players. I think within a certain extent, I mean, definitely need to rest Jesus. I think he's been playing every single game, and I think it's taken its toll on him. So I definitely think it would be a perfect time to have Nketiah up front. I think it's also a time to start Fabio Vieira. Even if I think if Zinchenko is fit, I think play him. If he's anyway fit, I think it's probably the right game to kind of ease him in, even play him for 25, 30 minutes, and just to kind of get him up to speed before the league game on Sunday. I think there's a lot of players we need to watch out for. I mean, Cody Gakpo is definitely one that can cause a lot of problems. It's a player Arteta wanted, so he obviously sees a lot of potential in him. So I mean, we just need to be careful that we've seen against Bodo Glimt. If we're not at the races, we will concede chances.
Yeah.
And PSV aren't like Bodo Glimt. Like if you give the likes of PSV a good chance on goal, that 9 times out of 10 they will take it. And I know we say that they're second in the league, and it's not a particularly great league, but like I mean, you look at the Premier League, and at the weekend you have Liverpool that are sitting 8th and Man City that are second, and we know there's absolutely no kind of massive difference between the two teams. So you can't really I suppose look at a league place and justify that either. You can only play what's in front of you. But I definitely think that it'll be a tight game. I do think it's a game that we need to win. I don't think anything less than a win is good enough, because I think we need to just close this out, because as we've mentioned previously in other shows, that if you top the group, you don't play another European game till March. And I think the players need as much of a rest, and especially they're going to be coming back after a long World Cup, and the last thing they want to do is being dragged straight into a European crucial match in the middle of kind of start of February, middle of March.
Yeah.
So I think definitely just get the job done. I think it'll be 1-0, maybe 2-1, and I think definitely give Jesus a rest. Give Nketiah time to shine. I do feel sorry for Turner. Like I feel like, yes, he's not exactly shined the light brilliantly, but he hasn't had a lot of game time. And I think you need to, I suppose, a lot of the time as well, if you be fair to Ramsdale is made out to look brilliant because there's, there's defensive errors and there's these mistakes happening, and you can only be as good as your defense is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you're playing on a plastic pitch for a starter, it doesn't help. And then when you have defenders that were having a poor match, if we're being honest, they were having a poor game, which then puts its toll on the keeper then as well. So I think he did well for what he had to do. He kept them out, and that's all you can ask of him. But I'm looking forward to the game now, and I do think we will do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And finally, coming back to Jonathan, can you hear us still, or you okay?
Yeah, can you hear me yet?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't think the PSV game will be an easy one. I think this will be our first big test in the group. I think Cody Gakpo, United were after him all summer, and a few other European teams were after him as well last summer. So I think he's a left winger. He's only 23, and he's probably their top scorer again this season. There's another couple of players I noted as well of interest of them is Xavi Simons. He's only 19, but he's very impressive attacking midfielder, and a few European clubs are after him. And Ibrahim Singari, defensive midfielder as well they have. But I think Van Nistelrooy hasn't been playing very well. They were very unlucky not to get through against Rangers in the Champions League qualifier back in August to make the Champions League group stages. I think the last time we played PSV, I think, was when Henry was still there. I think they knocked us out actually on away goals. I think it was. I was there at the Emirates. That was back in 06. So it's been a while since we played them last.
Yeah.
I think we should have enough quality at home to beat them, in my opinion, and I think the confidence is flowing through the veins now. The players, I would have dreaded this if we weren't on a good run of form, but I think the likes of Nketiah can get at the defence, PSV defence, and cause them a few problems. But I'd go for a win here at home, but they are still a big European team, aren't they? They're probably they'd be in with a chance of winning the Europa League themselves. So I'd go with a narrow 2-1 win. You know, that's the way I look at it. And being honest, we should be going on to win the Europa League. We're probably the strongest team in it at this stage, even now. You know, when you look at the strength of the squad we have and the form we're in. But like everything can change, of course, after Christmas. But no, I'd fear nothing really. I'd go for 2-1 there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a bit early to talk about winning the thing because we don't know what's going to come down from the Champions League. But yeah, like, look, I think we have a good chance. And I think as well, it's going to be really interesting. Like, you know, obviously, depending on how long we're going to go in the league strong, you know, what are we going to put our eggs into? Which basket are we going to put it in? Is it going to be the Europa League, or is it really just going to be pushed for? Because I think we did it twice now, that we tried to win something, you know, just to go into the Champions League, and it twice backfired. You know, like we didn't win against Chelsea in the final, and we actually threw away easy games in the league beforehand where we could have secured the top four that way. So yeah, look, I'm gonna worry about this first of all after that game on Thursday. Let's get the 3 points, top the group in the end, and then I worry about what's gonna happen in January, February, and then coming up to May.
Yeah.
So want to just change a bit course here and said like what we would like to do with the second show probably is talk about more about the women's football, because obviously after a great summer for the English women winning the European Championships, the women's football is getting stronger and stronger. Same of our girls, you know, the Irish girls, you know, like what an achievement, you know, like to go and qualify for the World Cup. It's such a big push for young girls, like to actually want to play football, you know, to be seen. And it's just like just a great feeling. And I mean, I'm already Austrian as well, so the Austrian team had exactly the same kind of push, you know. It's gone stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's great that we have Irish connections with Arsenal, we have the Austrian connection with Arsenal, and obviously there's a lot of English players in our team as well. And just to mention, yesterday was Ballon d'Or, not only for the men, it was also for the women, and Beth Mead came second, and only behind, like, you know, like the Barcelona girl who won the thing, Alexia Putellas, who is just like an absolute. I mean, Barcelona general as a football team for the women is just incredible. Like if Barcelona was strong in the men's team, the women are just unbelievable. The football they play is just absolutely sensational, and I think she well deserved it. But it's just great to see that Beth Mead came second, you know, and what an achievement is for her. And I think that will stand in real good stead for what it is. And yeah, so like we are already in the third game in the league in the WSL. We're still unbeaten, and we had a game against Reading on the weekend, and it's funny, another 1-0 to the Arsenal, which we put actually. There's actually highlights on our YouTube channel from that game. We should have won that game minimum 4-5 nils. We had so many chances after 30 seconds in the start. Blackstanius kind of like should have just put that into the goal. It would have been a complete different game. But again, that's football. Like you never know what's going to happen. You know, they really struggled to score that goal. Even after the 1-0, they didn't do anything more. Like, you know, it was just kind of like an awkward kind of game. Fair play to Reading. They really tried to give them a game, because they know like they don't have the best record against them either. And in the second half, like especially in the end of it, they had a lot of chances as well. We missed a penalty, all this kind of stuff. So like it was a really good game, but it should have won. We should have won 3-4 nil. No doubt about it. And we just make it hard. And as we can see, last year we lost against I think it was Birmingham, and 10 points were missing in the end of the league. This is such a tight league. This year maybe like a bit different now with Liverpool coming up, which we're going to be playing next week, because they're actually a really, really strong team. But I mean, there is only 2-3, so any points you lose, it's very hard to get them back. And Chelsea already dropped 3 points. Manchester United playing quite well, and as I said, Liverpool, which we're going to play next week, much better than they were, because what they went the last in the championship last year. So I see for where they're gonna go with it. I think I don't know what you think about the women football. What did you watch the game on Sunday? I know it was like after there was so many things. It was the Arsenal game, then there was the Liverpool Man City game, and then it was the women's football game. So there's a lot of football on a Sunday. But yeah, I just want to see maybe go to Ian now. Go first. You probably watched it as well. What do you think of the
I
girls?
didn't get to watch it live. Now I did watch the
Yeah.
highlights, and I suppose
Yeah.
the highlights you can't always get the full aspect of it. I do agree with you from the bits that I've seen. I think we took our goal quite well from Blacksteinis. I think she took the goal really, really well. I think overall, I think it was a really faultless performance, although it was only 1-0. As you mentioned yourself, Martin, I mean, they could have got 4 or 5 goals on another day. That is football. I mean, but look, at the end of the day, they got the result, and that's all you can ask. And I mean, they're also, I suppose, they're playing in Europe as well. So I mean, that takes its toll as well. You know, traveling that goes with that as well. Same as the men. And like at the end of the day, all you can ask them to do is get the win, and that's what they did. Fair play to Reading as well. I mean, Reading don't have the greatest luck when it comes to the WSL. So I think like the record against Arsenal in general isn't that great. So I think they've done well to, I suppose, stay in the game. Probably a little bit unfortunate, I suppose, some of the chances that they had. But look, at the end, like the main thing is the women got the job done, and I mean it's great confidence boost to go into the Liverpool game next week. And I fancy them to beat Liverpool. I think it's not going to be an easy game. I think Liverpool are quite a good team. I think there's a lot of individual players there that bring a lot, and I think like it's just getting more and more competitive. I mean, you can see the attendance back for the North London Derby. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest attendances for a women's game for as long
ever.
Anyway,
in the WSL, it was the biggest attendance for what they ever had, and and again, it's just like on the wave of what we've seen in the summer for the Euros, you know, like that's just kind of like what makes it like North London Derby is always a big game, you know, but like it just shows thing, and I think Brandon's mentioned it before we were starting, you know, they're getting so much more attention now. Sky is filming them, you know, they're on the television more regularly now, and it is great to see, you know, like, and what do you think yourself, Brendan?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't see the game, but I saw the goal, and I think I'm pretty much. I don't know that much about ladies football. I'm only getting snippets of it, but I'm getting more and more interested in it because, as I was saying earlier, you're seeing more of it on Sky. There's more and more female presenters who seem to know their stuff as well, and people are getting into them. And as you say, when there's 45,000 at an Arsenal Tottenham game, it's amazing, and that just shows the interest is there. And I was watching the Ballon d'Or yesterday, and you forgot to mention Leah Williamson, who got into got into the top 11, I think, in the Ballon d'Or. And they were showing like the El Clasico. There was 90-something thousand.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, and that's what I mean. Like Barcelona are really the level where the women looking at it, because you've seen last year in the Champions League, you know, Chelsea play quite well as well, but like Barcelona are just like on this complete different level, you know. And
they beat us well last year, didn't they?
They did, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that's like I'm not saying it's getting bigger and bigger. It's already big, you know. If you've got 45,000 people or 90,000 people watching a football match, that's serious stuff.
Well, 100%, yeah.
And you know that like you see things like I know Ramsdale spends a lot of time watching the ladies' game and working with the goalkeepers and stuff like that. And you can see like the first team players, they're interested in other parts of the club, and you saw the women at the Arsenal game there recently. It's nice, you know. I think years ago they would have been very separate and pretty much amateur. So now that they play under the title of Arsenal the same as everybody else. So it's nice you're an Arsenal fan, you support all parts of the club. So and I think that's what people are thinking, and that's shown in the attendances and fair play to the club how well they're treating them, and they're playing games at the stadium, and at last, and good luck to them. Every little bit of success is nice.
Yeah, it's just nice to see all the Arsenal on top of the leagues. That's great.
Absolutely.
more Arsenal on top. That's what we need. Jonathan, are you still here? Are you still with us?
Still with you, yeah.
Yeah, good. So, did you? I don't know if you watched the game or not.
Yeah, I watched the end of the second half. I thought a big shout out to the Irish women's team for making the World Cup.
Yeah.
Molly
Absolutely.
Barrett the winning goal, aside from the controversy after, which was I think was a bit petty considering what he achieved, you know.
Yeah.
And politics should never go with sport, you know, and like what an achievement. It was like what Ireland done to qualify for Euro 88 and 1990, you know, and they're going through the same feeling themselves. So big well done to them and Katie McCabe, one of our own, of course, of ours. I think our women's team really got, aside from the success they're having at the moment, like the likes of Emma Bourne, Rachel Yankee, Alex Catton, Karen Kearney, really got them up, you know, got the publicity for them even years before now. Um, and I think, like, I was looking at a stat there, it was on Sky Sports there on Sunday, the goalkeeper, Zinsberger, those were, was it the 8 clean sheets she got, and that's a new record for
Yeah. The eighth clean sheet in a row, like in the WSL, it's a record for thing. And thank God she's Austrian. Good old
Yeah.
Austrian keeper, you know. So like standing massively behind her. Yeah, no, she's a good keeper, and as I said, because of the Austrian national team, she's one of the players. You know why the Austrian team is going well as well. Because if you have a good keeper, it's like what we have with Ramsdale. You know, you need this rock in the back. You know, like she commands the box. You know, she's very eccentric. You know, she and unfortunately, as I said, it was so far. I actually wouldn't known because Ireland obviously played Scotland, and Scotland had to beat Austria to go to this game. So if Austria would have played Ireland, it would have been a really tricky situation for me. So I'm actually, in some way, I was relieved that they kind of lost to Scotland, so I didn't have to go to this ordeal. Who am I going to put my hat in for? But I think like Austria did quite well in the Euros as well, you know, and it's just great. Like I mean, to see all the players playing on international levels now, playing for like most of the Austrian team are playing Germany and in England. So it just shows that when you play in leagues like Spain, England, and Germany, you can make a really good national team, and that's exactly the reason as well why there's so many Irish playing as well in England. So long may it last. You know, especially for it's doing the world, you know, to see all the Ireland games and idolizing these players, you know. So yeah, I think it's very good.
Brilliant.
So yeah, basically, as I said, we also trying to, like, if anybody listen to this and must like to come in and is an absolute Arsenal women's fanatic, there's always a space here, you know. Like I know from Ozzy from the other show, like one of his friends that is gonna come on probably next week, just to talk, which is a regular at Warren Wood, you know, to go to all the games. So I think that would be a great insight to see as well of the fans who are going to these games on a regular basis, you know, because they see a lot more of them. It's hard enough to go for us over to London and to watch them, the men's team. So you would really have to kind of coordinate a game to see both of them at the same time, you know, and that's not that easy. But we're definitely trying to, as a supporters club as well, maybe try to organize to go over to one of these games, you know, and if we can get this, because we have quite good relations to Katie McCabe, and she invited us before COVID, and unfortunately COVID happened and we couldn't go. So that's definitely something what we're going to looking forward to in the future, to see and support not only the Irish team but also the Arsenal team. And I think, I don't know, Jonathan's probably gone already now. So, but I think that comes to the end anyway for it. Is there anything else you would like to mention? What you think like would be enough for this week? But I think what I might want to mention is like actually the women play tomorrow against Lyon in the Champions League. So good luck to them. They're away, I think. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they get on with that. Anything else, guys?
No, that's about it. I'd say that'd be a tough one. There was a few Leon ladies in the Ballon d'Or top 10.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, again, it's like one of these leagues, in, you know, and it's very hard for us to kind of really, you know, weigh them up where it is. I know, as I said, Barcelona are like a tier above everybody, but there's some tough games. Even like the German teams are very, very, very Wolfsburg, you know, like not the teams you normally have on the radar for the men's team have actually quite strong women's team. So it's very hard like to figure out. But I think they play well. Leah Williamson is injured. That's the only issue I think what we have. But they have a good few players as well who can step in there, and let's hope what it is. And it's going to be a tough schedule as well, because some of them only came back from the internationals. They played on the weekend, they play now during the weekend, they have to play again. So yeah, they have a busy October as well. So best of luck to them. But I think that's enough for the show today, the first one. As I said, let's hope we can do this more often and get more opinions about women's football. I think that'd be helping the club as well, and to show like a bit more interest on the other side as well. And that's it. Thanks, guys, for coming. Hopefully we see you again on one of the other shows, and thanks for taking the time to talk about this. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you probably next week.
See you now.
See you next week, guys.
See you later, guys. Thanks. Bye.